Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I am Adil Bas from Knitting 6th semester. Today here to present about my mid-semester assessment of electrical and electronic systems. The presentation has been divided into two sections. The first one is diodes, BJTs, GFETs, MOSFETs and IGBTs for operating DC motor and automatic switching. Firstly, I will introduce all these components, then their working principle, and after that I will discuss that either this can be used as switches and automatic switching. Switches and automatic switching. Switch is an electronic component which can make and break the path of a circuit, while automatic switching is a phenomena in which the switch can make and break the path of a circuit automatically with required times. Diode and its working. Diode is a semiconductor device having half p-doped region and half n region. The p region is called as anode while n is called as cathode. Diode can be operated in forward and reverse biasing depending on the connection of anode and cathode with the terminals of battery. If anode of diode is connected to the anode of battery and similar for cathode, it will be forward bias and vice versa for reverse biasing. So when diode is forward bias, the free electrons gain enough energy to overcome the barrier potential of diode as 0.7 volt, and the current start flowing through the diode. While in reverse biasing, diode doesn't allow any current to pass through it. Only small current flows due to thermally generated electron hole pairs. Diode as a switch for operating DC motor. Using the forward and reverse biasing phenomena of diode, it can be used as a switch. For example, when a larger voltage is applied from cathode side than anode, it will be reverse biased and the switch will be open, and when the voltage will not be applied, the switch will be closed, as it can be seen from the animation also. Diode as an automatic switch. By using the pulse width modulation square DC wave, we can use diode as an automatic switch. We will connect this square wave toward the cathode, and when we want that motor will not operate, the DC square wave will be at peak, making diode reverse bias, and when we want motor to operate, the square DC voltage will be near to the zero, making diode as forward bias and a closed switch. BJTs are the devices having three doped regions. These can be either NPN or PNP depending on construction. These have three terminals: base, collector, and emitter, and these are the current controlled devices. In the BJT working principle, when current is applied from the base side, it allows the current to flow through collector and emitter, while when current is not applied from the base side, the BJT doesn't allow the current to pass through the collector and emitter terminal. BJT as a switch for operating DC motor. When voltage will be applied from base side, the base current will flow, making transistor as a closed switch. Then current will flow from the collector to emitter region. While when the base current will be absent, the transistor will act as an open switch and no current will flow through the transistor. BJT as an automatic switch. So if PWM square wave is applied at the base side, it will allow the transistor to remain open and close switch according to the duty cycles. And GFETs are the transistors having three regions: gate, drain, and source. These consist of a center channel and two embedded regions. GFETs are the voltage control devices. So when voltage is applied from the gate side, the current flowing through the drain and source becomes low, while when voltage isn't applied from the gate side, the current increases. So this phenomena can be used to operate them as switches. GFET has a switch for operating DC motor. So when we apply the voltage at the gate side, it will act as an open switch, and when voltage isn't applied at the gate side, the GFET will act as a closed switch. GFET as an automatic switch. By using the PWM at the gate side, we can use it as an automatic switch, which will allow the DC motor to remain on and off according to the required cycles automatically. MOSFETs and their working. These are the transistors in which the channel is separated from the gate with an insulation medium. These are of two types. The first one type is enhancement MOSFETs. In these MOSFETs, the drain and source aren't connected with each other in normal conditions, while when voltage is applied from the gate side, a layer is formed connecting the drain and source. This voltage can be positive or negative depending on the construction of MOSFET. Depletion MOSFETs. In these MOSFETs, the drain and source are connected by a layer, and these can be operated in either enhancement mode or depletion mode depending upon the voltage applied. For example, in current situation, if negative voltage is applied, it will be a depletion mode, and when positive voltage will be applied at gate side, it will be enhancement mode. The phenomena of using MOSFETs as a switch is different for both enhancement and depletion modes, because in enhancement mode, when we will apply the voltage, MOSFET will act as a closed switch, while on the application of voltage in depletion mode, the MOSFET will act as an open switch. So the both cases are different. While MOSFETs can be used an automatic switch by using the PWM DC square wave, and duty cycles will be adjusted according to the type of MOSFET. IGBTs and their working principle. IGBTs are the bipolar transistors having three terminals: gate, collector, and emitter. These have input properties of MOSFETs while output properties of BJTs. IGBT as a switch and automatic switching. When voltage is applied at the gate side of IGBT, the IGBT is activated and it acts as a closed switch. While when voltage isn't applied, it acts as an open switch, and the PWM square wave can be used to make the IGBT as an automatic switch, remaining on and off according to required duty cycles. Pros and cons of diode and BJT. Diode, these are fast in operation and doesn't require any warm-up time. These can operate at low voltage and protect devices from reverse voltages, while these are smaller in size and lighter weight. But these cannot stand at very high reverse voltages, and these have high noise levels at higher frequencies. While BGTs are cheaper in cost and these have little chance to get damaged, and these can operate at low voltage of 1.5 volts, and these have higher output gain, while these have low input impedance, so these consume the more current from the feeding circuit, and these are larger in size and having low switching speed from GFETs and MOSFETs. GFETs and MOSFETs have high input impedance, so these doesn't require any current from feeding circuit, while these are smaller in size, having high switching speed than BJTs. And these are expensive, having less gain than BJTs, and in MOSFETs, the metal oxide layer can be damaged due to electrostatic charges, while in IGBTs, the input characteristics are of MOSFETs and output of BJTs, so this can be used in high voltage switching applications with medium switching speed and low switching losses, but these are very high cost and cannot stop the reverse current and having high turn off time. Now we are moving toward the section 2 of presentation, that behavior of silicon from 0 Kelvin to 373.15 Kelvin. Firstly, I will discuss introduction of silicon, then structure, and at the end behavior of silicon at different temperatures. Firstly, what is silicon? Silicon is a brittle crystalline material with blue-gray metallic luster. Pure silicon is a semiconductor having a band gap between valence and conduction band, but the silicon can be doped with pentavalent or trivalent impurities to improve its conductivity, which enables the silicon to be used in diodes, BJTs, GFETs, IGBTs, and other components. Structure of silicon. Silicon is denoted by Si and having atomic number of 14. It has four shells, in which the outermost shell have 4 electrons, while core have also +4 charge. Two silicon atoms can make a covalent bond with each other, completing the octet. Behavior of silicon from 0 Kelvin to 373.15 Kelvin. At 0 Kelvin, absolute zero, the pure silicon is an insulator, as it can be seen that there are no electrons in conduction band, so it is an insulator at this time. And at this time the electrons doesn't have any energy to overcome the band gap, but as temperature increases the electron gains some energy. When temperature reaches at room temperature, the electrons of silicon gain enough energy to cross the band gap, and at this time the silicon acts as a conductor, as it can be seen that electrons are moving from valence band to the conduction band, leaving a hole in the valence band and forming an electron hole pair. While when an electron loses its energy, it falls back into the valence band. This phenomenon is called as recombination. And the main point that is to be focused here is that what will be the behavior of silicon at the temperature of 373.15 Kelvin. As it can be seen that for bond breaking and melting, silicon requires a temperature of 1687.15 Kelvin. So as compared to this, the temperature of 373.15 Kelvin is very low to form any deformation in silicon atom. So at this temperature, the silicon will act as a conductor having a highly energized electron, which will move at a greater ratio in conduction band from valence band. Here are the reference sources of pictures, animations, and some data, while other data has been collected through the course and lecture delivered by the teacher. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.